Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic Channel. Hope you're having an inspiring day. And welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Victor, the Boogeyman, on Starfort Anomalies. So if you've missed part 1, I'll put the link in the description. And part 2 is just going to get better, guys. In this we have some Starforts shaped like birds. We have Starforts with gardens in them, and even Starforts in the ocean. So heaps of really good stuff coming your way. So without any further delay, let's jump straight into this one. Alright, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was the
garden.
the forts I was talking about. Look, they're building a star fort, and within the star fort are trees and gardens. So how is this a military structure exactly?
Exactly right. Wow, it's quite big too. That's a big building with fountains.
Yeah.
Orchards out here.
It looks to me that this is geomancy.
Yep. So basically using energy to grow better crops, grow better food, probably even energize water.
Yes. Yes, this is what I'm thinking. And probably the star fort is built by limestone or some other conductive stone type, so as to work like a grander, or the grander technology of water, where you put frequency into the water to structure it better.
Yep.
I kind of feel like that some of these stones could be emanating some low level frequency that may do that on the level. Yeah.
And just looking at that, like just looking and seeing how they're surrounded in water. Like, have you seen where they get they even do it with rice, I think, and water, and they stick words to the bottle,
Yep.
like love and hate, and it makes the water or the rice go, bad or good.
Yep.
I wonder if these are frequency shapes. I wonder if that's the frequency, that's so putting that with the water around it is like sticking that shape on a bottle. If you know.
Yeah, like this could be like a symbol of love.
Yeah,
on a frequency level. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And so that symbol is energizing everything in there to that frequency.
Wow. That's such a good idea, because that ties in with like the subtle paradise lost type of technology we're looking for. People are not looking for war in that period. They're looking for how to increase produce and have a better life, and using nature and using the creator in order to power that all naturally, right? I think this chimes more. It chimes more with our idea of what we have lost.
Well, and this is the thing. I mean, and like you did say, it was, more. I think this technology was more subtle and simple than a lot of people, are sort of thinking it. I think it's a lot more working with energies that are there and just sort of absorbing them rather than it was a massively technological society. I think they were just a lot more in tune, and they knew how to use natural earth energies to, power lights, to grow food, to even out, the energy of the earth. So even to stop aggression and wars and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's like that sentence you said. It's more subtle and more simple than people like to imagine. Look at that round shape. It looks like, when you zoom in on it, it looks like a cell, a eukaryote.
Oh wow! Yeah, right. Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The central. We've even got a nucleus in the cytoplasm's this stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Like for those types of bacteria, it would be a plasmid. I think they're called. Yeah, they have like these coils of rings that are their DNA.
Ribosomes and
So that definitely looked like some sort of animal cell.
It does, especially with this circle there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's also why I related when you look at the street pattern here, right? They're all crooked, and I like to think that this is a natural crit pattern in some sort of way. It's emulating some sort of biology.
Mm. Well, even the biology of the planet. Like if you look into like brain, how the brain works with neuron connectors, the more you use, the more you think a thought, the stronger that neuron connection gets, and the easier it is for information to flow down that street, or if for want of a better word. So maybe these are just the natural flows, where it flows naturally. So they just imprinting on top, so it just keeps the energy flowing rather than. If this was an energy flow, I guess, and you put streets in the wrong spot, it would kind of stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so you can take the next one. It's also exciting for me because I don't know what's gonna turn up. So yeah, this is another geomancy fort, it would seem, in a way. But when you look at it, look at the bastions, how mega they are, and also look at the street patterns and the mega spire.
That thing, yeah.
Also notice the cannon on that. Look at the size of the cannon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's huge.
And what is the cannon exactly doing in that picture?
It looks like it's firing.
Yeah, but where's the ball, and why is there coming like steam out of it?
That's a good point.
You're gonna see that in a lot of the
Because
pictures.
it looks more like like a puff of smoke or steam rather than like an outward kind of shot, doesn't it?
Indeed. So if you go,
there.
yeah, you can see, like, why would you do that if you're really worried about protecting your city? Wouldn't you have created like a better entrance?
I know, you go to all this work to build these huge walls, and we'll just put a door there so everyone can just walk in.
Also, another point is, if you make the bastions to have people cramp at the walls so you can mow them down from atop, why would you make moats in the places where you're supposed to capture these people?
Exactly, yeah.
Why would you create water for them to not go close to the wall where you have the supposed advantage?
That's a good point. And that kind of, this whole thing about, dead zones and cannons and stuff. I mean, because we pretty much know, I'm pretty sure every Star Fort had some kind of, apart from the ones on mountaintops, had some kind of moat. And that just pretty much, like you said, destroys these dead zone theories, doesn't it? Because people wouldn't be able to get there.
Yeah, but also just notice the symmetry of this one, and the only thing that destroys the symmetry, right, is the cathedral.
Yeah, it's off center.
Yep. Why would they do that?
It's interesting.
It's weird, right?
It's normally in the middle.
I would. My OCD is wanting to place this cathedral in the middle. Yeah.
And there's these also, look, around here we've got this outlying ring as well.
Yeah, at least of cities with spires, each and every one of them. Just imagine, like, just how many religious buildings you needed for, like, how the level of religion.
Yeah. This is you still see it in cities today. Like, you go in and there's all these churches. They all look the same, but I think that's why we have so many different sects of Catholicism and stuff. You have the Catholics and the Church of England and the Protestants and all this, and it's so they could say that's why we needed this many churches, because there's 8 different religions here, and if they all go, they'll kill each other. So they all built their own church, and it's like, well. Really?
Oh,
they all built their own churches to look exactly the same.
Create more denominations for people to claim their own church, and for them to say that they have built that. Yeah, it's a good point.
It's how they explain it away.
Okay, so this is La Tour d'Ordre. I would think it would be pronounced as I think it was close to Old Orleans in France. And it's again the same type of deal. This is like a pagoda within a star citadel.
Yep.
What do you, what do you need the fortification for there exactly?
Exactly right. I mean, this is your fortification here, this tower, isn't it? Who's going to scale that? Just sit up there and drop rocks on people.
Right. Also, this tower is smashed. This structure does not exist anymore.
Okay, it looks like the top here's already had a bit of damage in this
Yeah,
picture.
but what I really liked about this picture is that this is in France and it looks nothing like French.
Yeah.
It looks older, more rustique in a way, and it's a pagoda. So that would
exactly.
so it would have those Asian connotations. I would think this is
And
the evidence of the Eastern presence in old Europe, in a way.
all right, it begs a question. Two of those roofs that we see coming out of the pagodas, are they just,
It's
afterthoughts
some
to
sort of
change the look
it's
in the
some sort of
facade? Or?
yeah. I think like Martin Liedtke has a good idea about it. It's like some sort of stacking principle to amplify energy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we don't quite know, do we? We have a
No.
lot of we have better ideas and worse ideas about it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been taught to look at it completely the wrong way, as far as energy and all this kind of stuff. So we've got to kind of re-educate ourselves, I guess, on how it actually does work.
Yeah, man. True.
Because the truth is simple, right? And all they
Yeah,
give us is these people, and they just try and make things as complicated as possible, and then they think they're really smart for doing it.
indeed. I want you to notice the garden here.
Yeah.
You see that citadel in the garden?
This, yeah.
Yeah. That is kind of like what you would have as a citadel in a city. And here it is in another garden with trees in it.
It is. Well, it looks like, what is it? Hexagon shape, yeah.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And just
So,
trees, and that's obviously in the wall, in the fort, and then we have this huge wall here.
yeah.
I
And
mean, why would you?
look at those buttresses, they're not evenly spaced.
No, and they're not evenly high. The height as well is all different.
Yeah, that is quite weird.
It's very weird because look how symmetrical these are. It's obviously drawn the way that it was. And look
Yeah.
here, we have a tunnel underneath and stairs up to the.
And look at those massive chimneys, as if they're giant smokestack pillars.
This?
Behind the tunnel, just by the tunnel on the side of the building.
Yeah. Oh, wow, they're chimneys. Yeah, right. Oh, okay. There's a bit of smoke even or something coming out of one.
Yeah, that's a large chimney.
That's. And why would you just have three? What do they just want this part of? They don't care about heating this. They just want to heat this little bit.
Well, it looks like the other bit is destroyed.
Is this?
There's a ruin there. So
yeah, it's a
why
ruin.
is there a ruin?
Yeah, it's all broken down, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to actually look at this picture and say what is truly going on here.
God, it's a weird one, isn't it?
I know this. That's why I call them anomalies.
Anomalous, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? The Chateau Nive La Rivière de Loire. So what's that? Probably French.
So the new chateau over the Loire River.
Oh, okay.
Riviera, yeah.
And up here we have a little shield with
fleur-de-lis, I think.
3 fleur-de-lis, yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about this one.
Yeah. You could spend hours on it, couldn't you?
But this is crucial. If you zoom in a bit on the marked a bit out. Okay. So I'll just this is about the mound builders in America. So they're saying who built the mounds, and they're saying like certainly the North American Indians. The Indians have ever been a lazy rowing race, they say. But they're saying like the mysterious people who built the mounds were not a race of rovers. An infinitely long time must have been required for erecting each of these mound shapes. So they say here where I marked it out, nor were they ignorant savages, for the mount showed deep knowledge of geometry, as well as of astronomy and of the principles of building. Okay, so this is the important part. Carefully laid out military fortifications abound in the mound builders' country, indicating that the Aborigines had martial lore and an engineering skill, and that they understood many modern principles of attack and defense. So because they think fortifications means
War.
martial law, they're actually saying that the fortification found in America are not colonial here. They're saying they were built by the mound builders.
Nice. So they're saying it wasn't built by the Spanish
Yeah.
when they turned up. That's Graham Hancock goes into his new book, America Before. He goes quite a bit into the mounds, and he basically they're everywhere over South and North America and all through the Amazon.
But also in Denmark, it's what we call Viking settlements.
Well, I was going to say the same as England.
Yeah.
Like Glastonbury and all
Ireland.
those places, and Ireland, they're everywhere, exactly.
North Africa, dolmens everywhere. Dolmens in Russia, labyrinths in Russia and Greece and Turkey and North Africa and all of Europe, even the Baltics, and also all the small Eastern Pacific islands. It's like, what do you want? It's like
Yeah, come on, your story's falling apart. And another thing about the henges is there's two types of henges. I can't remember what the second one is, but a henge is the circle mound with a moat on the outside.
Oh,
But there's another kind where they put the moat on the inside.
Yep.
How would that work if it's a fort? What? What?
Yeah, it makes no... obviously, the water is doing something for them.
Obviously, the water's... Yeah. But and quite obviously, you wouldn't do that if it was for anything to do with military, because you'd just trap yourself in there.
Yeah.
So okay, so mound builders weren't built by the Indians; they were built by
whoever the mound builders were.
The mound builders, whoever they were probably giants.
Yeah. So this is, I think this is very close to us being able to say. So this ancient, antique people built the fortifications. They're very ancient, and they may be Tartarian.
Yep. Definitely.
And yeah. But to me, this is just extraordinary, because what gives it away as star forts they're talking about is they're calling them military fortifications.
Yep.
Yeah. That is what gives them away.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way. Especially, the ones with the doors in them and things, but
and if you really think about it, if those military fortifications are mound builders, right? When you look at the symbols on those forts in the US, they share the same symbolism as we see in the old cities of Europe. On the little portals they have on the star forts and small little pillars, and so that would mean that the mound builders are actually very close to the common antiquity we see around the world, like Roman, Egyptian, right? Yeah, that's what they call them. So that would mean that the mound builders are not these cave dwellers. It would mean that they are just like you're just looking at Atlantis, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is what was going on, eh? What we're still trying to find out.
Yeah. Mound builders and pyramid builders. It's the same. And star fort builders. And lighthouse builders.
And then are they going to be the same as these cathedrals and the Greco-Roman structures and everything?
Of course.
Because it's all the same. I mean, you couldn't get a star fort from America and one from Denmark and say that they're different. They're so the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like even the 5-pointers, they have 5-pointers in US as we have them in everywhere. With the same type of bastion formation. Yeah, and they even use the exact same type of batteries everywhere.
Yeah, I was thinking battery, but battery forts, military batteries, yeah.
And as my 13th monkey will show you, like in the ring cities, they have this specific type of elongated rectangular fort that are satellite forts around the ring cities. And he will show you that these satellite forts have the exact same shape and dimension everywhere in the world.
Wow. Dimensions. Wow, really?
Well, maybe not dimension, but the exact same shape. But
But pretty
I
much, yeah.
remember, like, I think it was Montreal or one of the Canadian cities has a ring around it with these structures, and so does one of the French ones, and it's exactly the same,
Yeah,
identical.
yeah.
But people will say, "Oh yeah, that's the French presence in Canada." Oh, well, yeah. They cannot
Yeah.
prove that. It's like they
No,
just assume the colonial stories, but when you really look into them, it's like, can you find an exact witness testimony in history where someone has witnessed colonials building star forts in the middle of nowhere for the protection of what exactly?
exactly. Yeah, for what? Because I mean, if that was true, you would see all these forts along the borders, wouldn't you? Where the wars were happening.
Sometimes you do have that, but like I would say that the wars were not really wars. They were like repurposing missions for engineers, and they called them wars and enacted them and took photos whilst they were doing it. But what they were really doing was cataloging and destroying what needed to be destroyed, and they created maps for later intelligence of it, and then they called these military maps and drew in all the military things on them.
On the top.
And yeah, and sold it to the
Mhm.
populace as military history. When it was really a cataloging reconnaissance mission where they're going out and seeing what is there and what are we going to do with it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Which ties in with the age of exploration, doesn't it? Because when you look into that, it's
gold
like,
rush. Yes,
yeah, it's not like they were just going, oh, let's just put boats in the water and go sailing around just in case there's something out. These guys were they knew there was something out there, and they went out looking for it. For Australia, for America, and yeah, then they just, like you said, got there and to see what was left and catalogued it all. And
yeah, indeed, man. Well, let's get to the next one.
that's the next one.
This is if you remember, I talked about like the star forts were perhaps able to communicate with these underground
Oh,
siphoning systems,
yeah, yeah,
tubes, and
yeah.
what. I think this is why we see the word communication so much on these pictures. And if you go through some of the next ones, we will see it some more. I think. Yeah.
Communication, the enemies, does it? And this
Uh,
is above
yeah,
these triangles, isn't it? So no
and you see the
triangles.
water and you see the black line. You can see like there's both water
Yeah.
there and something
Okay,
else.
so this is water. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if they control.
And what is interesting about these readout points is that they remind Philip of pressure valve points you would have on a gas pipeline, for instance. You would have
Ah,
these
okay.
small little
Yeah.
sections on a gas pipeline to control
Right.
the pressure.
And you can even see this first one's even bigger.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Might be something to that, yes.
So that's where like the main inflow is coming, isn't it, of the water? So you would expect it would be bigger.
Yeah. I think engineers could really figure this out if they would accept the premise that this is not military, but some sort of technology.
Yeah, I know. I know. We need
Yeah.
someone. Need a savant or something to get into it.
So
Wow, look at
this,
that.
yeah, this is actually a structure that is found on the Bahamas.
And this is water, yeah, that comes in and goes around here.
There is an identical fort on the one of the no, not the Bahamas, the Bermudas, the Bermuda Islands.
Okay, yeah.
Mike can show you it. So this structure does indeed exist, and you can see it has like two central towers,
Yeah.
and they look to be able to rotate like gears.
Mm. And they
Some
look
of
different too. This one's more, I don't know, cog-like and
no, I think that just showing different
different. Okay, like a
plants.
cutaway. Okay, yep, gotcha.
Yeah,
Cutaway. Yep.
they're identical, I would think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we can see these. Yeah.
Yeah, one is a side view and one is an outside.
Outside.
Yeah. So if you go to the next one.
What is that?
That is another of those weird geomancy
Yeah, we've got
starports.
nice big gardens up here.
Yep.
Is that a garden in the middle of this lake? That's pretty. Is that a boat?
And also look where we are at. This looks to be, it could be in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
So could this be like
Yeah, okay, 'cause that's
a
water
way
there.
to actually be able to have a very good produce in the middle of the ocean, build a starfort out there somehow, and then when you have that, or could there be such a thing as floating starforts,
Floating
like
stuff.
on barges, mega barges or something?
Well,
Like
was it the Incas that used to make floating islands? And I think they did it in Africa as well. There's a lake, and it's covered in quite big. I mean, they're not star forts or masonry, but yeah, big floating islands that they used to make.
they both the Incas and the North Africans or the Ethiopians and Egyptians supposedly built floating islands or artificial islands and massive irrigation systems, which would have included canals and the like. And canal
Yeah,
builders are very much starfort builders as well. The
exactly.
whole of France is built is full of very straight and narrow canals, especially in the northern Rhinelands. And they say that these were built and dug by the French in the 1800s with horses and men plowing day out and day in, and it's just crazy.
It is, and there's so many more cities around the world. Like Venice that we're actually told of. Like, if you look into cities that are built on canals, there's a lot of them out there, especially in Europe.
Right.
But
But
they tell us no, it's
zoom
only
in on the if you can zoom in on those red lines that connect the forts, you can see that there is a fortification line running towards it, from the city to the redoubt. You can see there's like a line.
this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So why is there a line connecting and it's going over a valley and it's going straight through a mountain? It's going straight through a mountain.
This, yeah.
Yeah. It goes over a valley there, straight through a mountain.
Oh, there, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. And then is this part of it too? What's
I
that?
don't know. It's like, but why is the line going through the mountain? Is
Through
it
the
a
mountain.
tunnel? I would say
There's
this
actually a
indicates
path up here
it's a
too.
tunnel that's. I would say this indicates it's a tunnel going under the topography, not over it.
Yeah, well, it almost looks like there is. I don't know. It's hard to see, isn't it? But
Hard to see, but it pops out on the other side.
what's that in a different picture or on the other side of in
No,
this
you
one?
can see on the other side of the mountain
Oh,
here. If you
yeah,
go up on the
it does. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And that's completely. Yeah, it's not on top. It's underneath.
yeah, and I would think the reason why there's a citadel placed on top of that is because it goes straight down to that tunnel
Yeah.
on
Okay.
top of it. So why would you have fortification triangles on a tunnel? Well, as Philip has pointed out, this may be a gas pipeline, and it would need pressure valve points on it to control the pressure or regulate it.
Yeah, as in these.
Because these are definitely not that, like, we can deduce or we can argue for that they are not overground because they're going over a valley. They're going over that little road there. You can see they're going under that road. No,
Yeah.
yeah, no, there it seems to go over. But if you go
Oh,
back,
what did I do?
to the city, you can see there's a little road and it seems to go under that road. The line. You see that just above that? Just go a little above. Yeah, it goes under right there. There's a
There.
little
Yeah. Okay. I see what you
yeah.
mean. Yeah, it's definitely cut. Yeah.
So to me, this looks like it's going underground. This line connecting the citadel down there with something.
Okay. Yeah. And
Yeah,
they're
so
just they're just representing it basically, but it's all
and you
under.
can see it says communication right there. Communication.
Communications. And down here it's got these all seem to be connecting to something. What's that? Just A B C D, is it?
Well, this would indicate some sort of canon line of sight, I think, for
So
them. But it
Morrison.
doesn't necessarily mean that.
Yeah. Yeah, they
It
always
doesn't
tell
necessarily mean that. And imagine what type of cannon could actually have a reach up to that mountain or hill is really far away.
yeah, and uphill.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Doesn't make sense at all,
But
right?
some would say that maybe it's the Citadel's line of sight to the city. But why would you build a star fort to siege a star fort? It seems like a little bit too much.
And this is the thing, like, how long would it take to build one of these star forts? Because they kind of say, oh yeah, they were having a war, so they built a star fort. I mean, you don't just throw these up in a week, do you? These things would take, a long time, especially if there's bits going underneath and, all the antiquity stuff. I mean, they'd take years to build.
Right.
So,
Indeed.
so you'd be dead. You'd be dead. Your enemy would attack. It's a bit of a silly story.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, you can take the next one. I don't know what it's gonna be. It's so exciting. Oh, this is the if you zoom in on the coastline, this is a large canal. You can see there's a canal running through the coastline. It's very, very long, and it's very wide, and it's definitely star forty. It has small little readouts or pressure valves on it. Yep. So it's in Russia. I think it's well, I can't remember exactly where it is. Mike will know where this is. He has it mapped on our map. But here you can see, how large that canal is. And see, in the middle of the canal, there's like a little trench.
There.
Yeah. And why do you need that formation around the canal with all those like lines and Starford-like structures?
Yeah, all the different heights and things like this. I mean, look at that. It's on both sides.
Yeah. And you have trees on there, like as if they're doing something.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a lot of this we just don't know.
No, I mean, it begs a question too. I mean, are these all actually, I mean, that's a canal, but like the last one, is a lot of this stuff underground. And when we're seeing maps and we can't find the walls, is that stuff that's underground maybe?
Yeah, good question, man.
Because a lot of these maps you can find bits, but then you're just missing walls and it's like, nice.
Yeah.
All right. What have we got here?
So this, I think, is some sort of system of transportation with a canal. As you can see, it's kind of the same deal. Pay attention to the line that is has those dots on it.
Yep, all around here.
Yeah, it's connecting what I know to be star forts. Rochefort is a star fort, and Saint Anuli. Those cities on there are star forts. They're just not shown to be star forts here.
All
And
right.
they're connected with some sort of canal system that has these dots on both sides. So you can really see them when you zoom in.
It's actually not pretty good picture, this one. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you can see that's got width to it, and then these are on each side, and they go straight through the forts by the looks of it.
Yeah. So what are those? Are they? I would think canal systems with either trees on both sides or pressure points, like small readouts.
Yeah. So there was something that looked like this on that. I've got a map from 1450 from Africa. Well, actually, it's Europe and Africa. And it had stuff that looked like, and I was asking, I thought it was like a trail or a road with trees. I thought, do you reckon that's trees? But I'm wondering, if there was something.
Well, if you go into the right side of the picture, you will see there are some categories for us to consider.
These?
Yeah, if you zoom out a bit, there may be the pattern that we're requesting. on there, somewhere down there, perhaps.
Down here, yeah.
In the bottom of the picture. No, it doesn't seem like it actually.
Anomalies.
I don't know actually what they're showing us right here. Like all
Yeah.
sorts of pottery and weird stuff,
Yeah.
topography.
This almost looks like, different kind of construction photos. Like that looks like the start, and it turned into that maybe. Different
Yeah, it
types
looks
of
like
soil. Looks like there's two different types of soil used. Like, so, for
yeah,
different.
if
What's that?
someone can read French, they have the chance here to help out.
Yes, yes. If you can read French, let us know. We'll send you the pics.
Oh, yeah, it is French. Yeah.
It is, yeah. Nice.
It's from Gallica, yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, there's so much information, and people don't just go to all this effort for no reason. This means something.
Yeah, definitely. This is the thing you see down out there in the water is a submerged old harbor.
This?
No, those faint constructions there, those are submerged harbors of antiquity, very old. You can see. I think it was the information to this picture where I found it. It said that those yellowish structures are submerged and destroyed.
Okay.
Those.
So that's why this is half on the land and half in the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you pay attention to the bottom one, you'll see it has a bastion on it. So this would indicate a much older people building star forts than the ones that are white and there today.
Yes.
Yeah. And it would indicate a cataclysm since they're submerged.
Submerged.
Yeah.
So, yeah, who built? That's the question. Are these part of the original structure, or were they like an attempt to restart them or something at some point?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that is what this one shows. That is Steel Castle. I think many know this one. And it has what looks to us like gearworks. Like the central point reminds us of a lot of what we have seen today with the round pits, and looks like it would be able to rotate back in the past. So that is what we're. Yeah.
You get a lot of this kind of stuff. I guess steampunk and that, but in cartoons and that, if they've always got machines that look like this with cogs everywhere, and don't they?
Yeah, they do. So if you yeah, this is another geomancy thing. This is really weird. So look at the central fort up there. That is a star fort.
Yep.
But it is completely useless as a defense, and is in a garden. And it's set up to be like a fireworks pavilion or something.
Yeah, like this top bit.
Yeah, so it's really weird. Why would you do that? And also look at the garden, the picture to the right of that. You can see star fort formations in levels
down here
in the park.
And even down there, yeah.
So what is up with that? This is an amphitheater.
Amphitheater.
And if you go down a
and then look at that. Look at this.
To see like this mountain they build out of stone, like artificial mountains. Yeah. So a lot of it looks to me like geomancy. Has a lot of what we're looking for with the star forts to answer that.
Yeah, well, we see it everywhere today, don't we? All the capitals have got them, and I'm sure it's everywhere if you look hard enough.
Yeah, indeed, man.
But probably just remnants. I mean, I think John Levi's done some videos where he sort of shows that there's all these lines in the ground, and a lot of stuff has just been built on top, just following those lines.
Yeah. Pay attention to the tower down there. The cannons.
Wow. Yeah.
Like they're pretty dang hard to hit a target with when you're like pointing them down.
They are.
And also pretty hard to fire.
But I mean, even so, like just with that square, imagine. I mean, you don't have much scope to move it, and to I mean, this cannon here wouldn't be able to move much apart from straight ahead, would it?
Yeah, the logical thing to do if you really wanted to defend this is to have them at sea level and have a straight line of sight outwardly.
Yeah, and have more room to maneuver them, so you can move them, and change the angles that you're firing at.
Indeed.
Because like you said, that's a
But
bit ridiculous.
a thing I have wondered whether if these actually were able to rotate, one way you could get one to rotate is use these cannons not to fire balls, but perhaps to exhaust some sort of steam, and then you could control. You could start a direction of flow speed, and then you could control the cannons to gain speed or to slow speed of rotation.
Yep. So like this one here, see how it's pointing on an angle downwards like that.
Yeah.
So if they were all pointing that way, then you couldn't get it to rotate this way.
And we will see that perhaps a bit later with the rotating fort, where they are describing a turning fort, and it has cannons on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, this is an
Eastbourne?
UK.
Yep,
Yeah.
same kind of thing.
Really, part of the same tradition of construction. This is also the Star Fort builders' work.
Definitely, but obviously for a different function.
Yeah, you can see here that cogwheel down in the left reminds me of what we just saw.
Yeah, but just on the ground.
And look at the inside of that tower. Yeah, on the ground. Yeah, and has a hexagon in the middle also. And that one is a central tower with like 8 stories or something, maybe 6, 7. It goes into the earth.
Into the earth again, like that first one.
Yeah.
And the same on this side. We got that canal.
Yeah.
Is there one here? Oh, yeah, there's one there too, by the looks of it. Wow. So what's that depicting? I wonder. That
depicting the tower from up top, I would think.
Just looking down. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that just looks so machine-like, doesn't it? And this got the dome on the top, and then inside we've got this internal dome that you see a lot in the old pictures of domes and that. So
yeah, and if you zoom in on the cogwheel, like really zoom in on it, look at the small little bits on the bastion points. There are some of those small little bits that if they were for cannons to shoot outwardly, you would hit your own structure and with some of them.
Yeah, but I mean, then you can't get out at all on this side, unless that's a cross section, probably, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a cross section.
But I mean, just trying to maneuver.
Take the one down in the bottom. That one right there, above your.
This one.
If that was to shoot outwardly, no, not that. Just below that.
This one.
No, between those 2 points. Like in the wall, inside the wall, there are these firing holes. It would look like.
Yeah, these here and here.
No,
yeah.
in the central walls. Like
these ones you mean? Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
So if you go down there again, and take that one.
Yeah, right.
That would shoot straight into your own structure.
Yep. And this one here.
Yep.
This one here.
So they're definitely not for cannons.
No, it's looks like they're just some kind of capacitor, different materials with different resistances or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And here you have like a up close view of one of the central structures. Just look at that. Like the brickwork and the giant large stones in the archway there.
Yeah. And just all these symmetrical holes everywhere.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
That's very machine-like, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And these just continue, which is
pretty much the same. So these are there's obviously these are all different forts. So there's obviously quite a few of these around at one point.
Yeah.
And they're just all the same, aren't they?
Yeah, Deal Castle
So,
reminds me of these.
so look, these are and that's that's a chevron, really, isn't it? When you look at it, but
Yeah, chevron.
same shapes that we see on the stars. It's
Yeah,
bizarre.
it is.
Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah, right.
Yeah. We actually have we have found that fort somewhere. It sits inside of a citadel. This formation somewhere. Mike will have the the ID on that one.
Nice. That'd be
He
good
has
to see.
a good memory with those. But it is somewhere out there. This type of fort.
It's almost like directed energy too, that one, isn't it? Sort of directing up to this point.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of the only free pointers. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a
You don't
yeah.
see them. They're pretty rare. You don't see a lot of them.
Nope, that's true.
Oh my
And
God.
this yeah,
It's the
this one is
city.
amazing.
What the hell is that?
It's just so large. It's like above 10 stories.
Yeah, it's massive.
Massive, yeah. And the
And it's just,
stones
yeah, at the
in the
front here, look at the
foundation.
size of them. And just filled with, what we're used to, arches, domes, symmetry.
Also, look how this looks super futuristic.
Mm,
Looks like 1950s or something. 1950s.
it does, yeah.
40s.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
what's that, like Art Deco kind of stuff.
yeah. And this is back in the 1700s. This book is from, and they are probably depicting something back then that was further back in the past also.
We've also got these two bits of smoke coming out.
Yeah, some sort of steam, perhaps, steam thing going on with this structure, some sort of factory or foundry or.
Definitely looks like some kind of factory. I mean, and we've got to remember that there's got to be a place or places where they made all the bricks. Where all the
Yeah,
bricks come from?
maybe they were actually built in the star forts, I've considered,
Exactly. That's what. Yeah, I've considered that too.
like as mines. They're making mud bricks below ground or something. Yeah,
Mm,
and look at that star
that,
fort though. It's
that's a
just
nice one.
looks super futuristic.
It does.
And there's a lot of these futuristic. This would remind me of the ring around Bucharest,
Yep.
apart from the central star fort, because Bucharest does not have what seems to be a central star fort within it.
No, that looks like Pamplova, doesn't it? That one.
Yeah, yeah, it does. In Italy, or Palmanova.
Is that what it's called, Palmanova?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's a very symmetrical, large fort. Yeah.
nice 8-pointer. Yeah. Oh, another 3-pointer. Is that the same one?
No, this is this is in France, the island of AIX. I don't know how to. If you go down to the text, you can see plan du fort. The something AIX.
Yeah, I don't know how they say that.
Yeah, so this is the type of fort, and it even looks like a little bird.
It does.
Looks like an eagle or something.
It's spreading its wings. Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that symbology's got something to do with it. Gosh. Oh.
Yeah, it's a very pretty one, and this is like a large round fort.
Gosh,
Just
looks like
a foundry.
Yeah, like a sports
Prison.
stadium, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, right, like a stadium, exactly.
Big round sports stadium, yeah.
It also reminds me of the structures that are called panopticons.
It's called
prisons.
What?
Panopticons with like a central hub that can view everything. In all
those,
sections.
the unescapable kind of prisons, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, right. Jeez. I wonder who got put in that. Oh, wow, look at that one. It's another fort.
Yeah, those are the battery type.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's showing different levels. See, it's got this outline here, which matches this. And then on the inside,
it could be above ground and below ground, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And it stops that half bit there. Stops there. Oh, interesting.
Very much. Oh yeah, with the central tower.
Oh, okay. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, right. Gee, that's a good star, isn't it? So these
Yeah.
these are probably all trying to show us it was cannon fire. Look, you could shoot there. You could shoot there. You could shoot there.
Yeah, but could it also be something else, like some sort of energy?
Well, I mean, if you look at, if each of these points is directing energy, I mean, you would get that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it could also be perhaps some sort of angles, like showing like angles from the star for dead zones or some sort of things that they
Yeah.
added over it.
Yeah, well, it definitely, yeah, doesn't look like it's necessarily part of the original, does it?
No.
But yeah, no, they do that a lot just to try and tell us that we're
Yeah, so they can
evil,
use
warlike creatures.
if they can use the truth to their advantage by adding something or augmenting it a bit, they will rather do that, I think.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. And
Yeah.
just change it a bit, change the reality. It's
Yeah,
like in
and make it suit.
1984 where he used to work at that. That was his job, wasn't it? He used to have to go in and change history every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what they've been doing, and they're probably doing it, yeah, live. Oh, look at that tower there, and must be like 12 or 13 or 14 stories.
That's huge. I mean, look at this
Yeah,
building here. One, two, three, four, five, and domes on the top. That's huge. And look, it's
yeah.
just empty inside.
And the bottom one, like
That's,
the scale of that.
that's huge, isn't it?
Our the ancient people were definitely much above us in construction level, just like the
Definitely in
scales thing.
construction. Yeah, in scales. And their stuff's still hanging around. The stuff we build doesn't last long at all.
Yeah. Oh, another of those large towers.
It's another, yeah. More
Wonder what
cogs.
they did with those.
Yeah, this looks like the first one. It just looks, I don't know, this looks magnetic to me. I mean, you see these in motors and electric motors
Yeah,
and
and
coils and things that look exactly the same.
yeah, an electromagnetic motor.
Even this looks like it could be, positive, negative, and I don't know.
Yeah, like a ring mat.
Yeah, like a ring magnet, yeah, with different polarities and it's just
Well,
bizarre.
that is definitely all of this is just piquing my interest all the time. Can't wait
Just
for someone to really prove something in our field about these structures would be awesome.
yeah, definitely. I think this is worth a lot more investigation because, like I say, if we can, use these as proof that what we're being told now is not true, then fine. I mean, because this is ridiculous. I mean, I'd love to hear the story they came up with for this.
Yeah, I think they will say that this book is some like artistic
Yeah,
fantasy forts. Yeah,
I think
but
so.
as you can see, some of these fantasy forts are found out there, as like the French one in Aix.
Yep, and what'd you say, Bermuda as well?
Yeah, Bermuda had one of them as
And
well, and I've definitely seen this structure out there as also these
yeah,
types.
I've never seen that one before, but that also is like a bird, isn't it? With the sort of head here, wings,
Yeah, definitely.
with
Yeah,
a big
yeah,
tail coming off it. But I mean, if these were just fantasy, you wouldn't put all schematics and lines and all this kind of stuff in it, would you? Really?
yeah. And this is also a concrete fort. You can see that on the in the top left. It's Fort the Nil de Pigeon or something. It's some French fort somewhere. There are
Oh
over
yeah,
1,000 French forts.
Fort of the Pigeon. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I did. I saw your
so it
video.
is a pigeon fort.
So, and it actually looks, yeah, right, like a pigeon.
Yeah, it really does. Man, there's something more to those pigeons. Have you ever heard about the passenger pigeon?
Like homing pigeon, you mean, or?
Yeah, they were
Yep.
definitely. There were so many passenger pigeons in back in the old days in America, like that they had to kill them as pests, and like there was an area where every day at dinner they would basically serve a homing pigeon.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah, but
So they
we're
were there
wondering
for a reason,
whether
obviously. Yeah.
it went from like I think there were like in the hundreds of millions of homing pigeon in the U.S. and or passenger pigeons, and they said in a matter of like decades they got rid of all of them, like every one of them went
Every
away, disappeared. So some of the guys from stolenhistory.org have posed the question, does that logistically make sense? Is this possible? And if so, how? And why?
It doesn't seem possible to get rid of every last one, and especially in that shorter time period.
Yeah. And they said that I remember a passage from an old article. If a large flock of these passenger pigeons would pass over your farm, it could take over half an hour for the sky to be lit up again. From
What?
yeah, that's the multitude of passenger pigeons.
Wow.
The groupings were so large that it really outdoes anything in terms of murmurations today.
Yeah, it's interesting. So looks like they were a big part of communications because they obviously were being bred for something.
Yeah, and so that was why I wanted to tie in with the communication. So if they made a fort in the pigeon form, maybe they're honoring like the
Ah,
idea they
yeah.
got from the pigeon with these forts, perhaps.
Yeah, okay. So symbolically, like now we have
Communication.
his
Yeah.
piece. Symbolically, it would have been communication because it came. That's how they
Yeah.
that's how they
It,
originally used them. Yeah, right.
I'm guessing this is like the backbone of the old commercial system, and that is why they're using birds. It's like FedEx today uses the eagle. It's like the postmaster.
Mm,
This
yeah,
is the old postal communication systems. And
definitely.
and in our system today, the highest organizations and corporate institutes in the whole world are the communications and the harbors and the post offices. Those are the highest echelons of the system. Without these three, there would be no system.
Yes, interesting, and that's all been changed as well. We won't get into that, or we'll get off topic again. But postmaster and stamps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we yeah, that is
But right, no, that's
a
way too.
rabbit hole of a very large size.
Yeah, let's leave
Yeah.
that. All right, let's click
A
on.
lot of people in your country is really good at that rabbit hole. For instance, Romney Stewart, if you know him.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, there's a few good ones. Yeah, there's a channel two I think called what's it called? Liberty Mate.
Yeah,
It's pretty
exactly.
good. There seems to be a lot of guys sort of around 60, 70 in Australia that are right into it.
Yeah,
And we've got a few of them, and they just go around and harass the crap out of police and do stuff and go, come and get me, and they just have
yep.
fun. Like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I love the Australians for their attitude in those relations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look at this fort though. It's like it it's massive.
This is underneath it, is it? Is this
Yeah. This is
tunnels?
inside of it.
Wow. So I've got two
You can
levels here, one massive level here,
it's just
and
extraordinary.
this is yeah cross section, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah, it's really huge. Yeah. And just begs the question what these structures were like. We
I
still
mean,
don't know.
no, I mean, and looking at that, I mean, you could house a population in there if you had rooms. And that it's almost like what's it called? Darren Yaku, Darren. The underground city in Turkey
Yeah. Yeah.
where they had people. So I mean, is this to do with were they hiding from were they defensive in that way as well? Oh,
Right. Oh,
here we
these
have
are the turning
the
forts.
turning ones. Yeah.
Forts turnants,
So,
which means turning forts. These were able to rotate.
wow. Defense ports, jeez.
Yeah.
And the question is, and I mean, you can see it here too, but with lighthouses, I mean, how do they build the foundations? Some of those
Yeah.
lighthouses they're like right out at sea, and it's like, how could you possibly do that?
Yeah, maybe they found the foundations and built on top of them.
Well, this is what I think, or sea levels were different. But I mean, I don't. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
all the foundations were built, by the
I do have
apex.
some depictions where they show in the 1800s they're diving to 20 meters of depth and salvaging old forts that are submerged. Like, imagine this picture and these three forts being under, let's say, 50 feet of ocean water.
Yeah. Okay.
They have had that in the 1800s in the Mediterranean and in American Harbor, and they would cruise out and they would send people down in diver spells and destroy them.
Oh God, really? But I mean, yeah, you can imagine this could literally be the top of a citadel or something, couldn't it? And then just massive star fort down underneath.
Indeed, there could be a tunnel connecting them.
Three towers on a wall or something. Who knows? Gosh.
Yeah, and they're turning, man. So
Which
go
is
to
another
the.
thing. Oh,
You can see
there's so
here.
much buried on land. How much is buried under the water?
See, this is the inside section of the turning fort, and what I want you to pay attention is the middle section for the tower.
Yep.
that we saw in the other depictions, and the round section around it where you have cannons and levels.
Yeah.
Now pay attention to the gears in the bottom of it and on the middle pillar there. This is the mechanism that enables the fort to turn 360 degrees.
Yeah.
If you remember the old drawings, all these sections kind of line up with the hollow spaces in the forts we were just looking at.
Yep.
So this would indicate to me that those hollow spaces in the other forts were to implement this gear system.
Okay, yeah, right.
So they could turn.
Yes. Or they've been taken out or whatever, or they're not there anymore. Yeah, but these are we've still got, because I mean you can see these. It looks like this is sitting on these, and these just turn. So this whole outside just turns around.
Yeah, and the middle section is like the middle axis, and that's why you needed a central tower in those round forts.
Yeah, so it spins, and God knows where it's getting its power from. They're not showing this one, but you would think
maybe they stake it to the ground. Yeah, to gain some power from the ground. Yeah.
I mean, it could also be. I mean, I don't know. Went down, big water wheel, underground canal. Would that turn it? Who knows?
Yeah, so this is very interesting.
Very interesting.
Oh, this is some ancient ones. This is a cigarette star forts in Palestine, and they're everywhere.
A cigarette?
Yeah, C as in an
cigarette.
old
Sorry, cigarette.
Yeah. So Mike and I would argue that those types are the another type of star forts, and you find them in regular star forts. You would have an inner citadel with this style, and around it you would have the European so-called fortification style. So they are definitely interchangeable. And here you see around Mount of Olives, just full of star forts.
Yep, all on little hills.
Yep.
All connected. All right, well, there you go, guys. I think you'll agree, some amazing images and information in that video. So a big thank you to Victor and the Buggeman channel. Please do go and subscribe to Victor's channel. I'll leave the link below. He has some amazing videos on star forts. Also, he's part of the team that has started starciv.org, and they have amassed over 5,000 star forts. And it's a great site, so check that out as well. The link as well will be in the description. So, hope you enjoyed that one. Thank you for spending some time with us, and I'll catch you on the next upload. Bye for now.